Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today we continue with our read through of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition with issue 13, which covers Super Adaptoid to Umar. And we have our Ron Friends cover. This is the second Ron Friends cover since he took over from John Byrne. And I have to say, after two Ron Friends covers, I think I'm liking the Ron Friends covers more than the John Byrne covers. They just have a little more fullness to the pencils, I'll say. And Joe Rubinstein is inking this cover. It looks fantastic. And we see a lot of the characters presented in this volume on this cover. And very cool how the Supreme Intelligence is here in the background. And just some neat looking figure work here by Mr. Friends. Nice stuff. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? So we have more data corrections from writer-producer Mark Grunwald. Peter Sanderson is listed as writer-researcher. Elliot Brown, technical illustrator. Joe Rubinstein, inker embellisher. Andy Janchus is the colorist. And James Fry is still listed as the art enhancer, along with a host of other creatives involved in getting this amazing Herculean book out every month for this period. So we start with a Mike Zeck Super Adaptoid, very cool character. One of the great villains. They did an awesome hero clicks of this 28 millimeter scale hero clicks of this character. That's one of my favorites. And we get some fantastic artwork as well to go along with him. And including the cover of one of my favorite Adaptoid stories, Captain Marvel number 50. Very cool Al Milgrom artwork there, I think. Nice stuff. On to Super Skrull. It's a fantastic John Byrne figure here. Really good. And we get, for our action shots, most of the stuff is from Alpha Flight 9 and 10. I think most of it is actually from Alpha Flight 10, which is very cool. And we get one Kirby here from Fantastic Four, probably from his first appearance. He is 6 feet, 625 pounds, green eyes, no hair. He is... Oh, they don't have his name here, but his name is later revealed as Klart, I think, and maybe in the limited series before the Annihilation Saga. He got his own miniseries. Strength level. Without power augmentation by the Skrullian energy broadcast beam, the Super Skrull possesses the same amount of superhuman strength that the Thing, one of the members of the Fantastic Four, originally possessed. Hence, the Super Skrull can lift press 5 tons. When exposed to the energy broadcast beam, he can lift press 15 tons. So kind of weird numbers. I guess the Thing was really weak when he first started out, and he slowly got stronger and stronger. Brilliant Supreme Intelligence here. I love this. Another of those great behind-the-scenes villains with whose machinations set so many things in motion. We get a wonderful entry on Surtur from Walt Simonson, including a nice Simonson piece here, and this is probably a Buscema piece here, maybe Kirby. I actually think that's Kirby. So Surtur, one of those sort of like cosmic powers in the Asgardian pantheon. Very cool. Of course, part of that amazing Walt Simonson Thor run, culminating with issue 353, or concluding, I should say, with issue 353. So again, we see Surtur here in action here, rending the Rainbow Bridge itself with that world-ending sword he was wielding. Of course, he has class 100 strength. Height over 1,000 feet. It's one of those deals where I think he can be as tall or short as he wants to be. I did like Surtur in Thor Ragnarok too. I thought he was fun. Talisman here, who was once Shaman. We have a nice Mike Mignola piece here, because Mike Mignola for about 5 minutes was the artist of Alpha Flight. I think from like 29 to 31 or something. Not very long, but it was cool while it lasted. And then we're going to get a lot of Byrne, almost all Byrne here, with one exception. for our action shots. And Talisman gets a lengthy entry as befitting a cool character like him. Really neat. That is his daughter, who was once Talisman too. So there is a rather, when Bill Mantlo took over the book, he definitely shook up the cast of Alpha Flight, including Talisman, Shaman's daughter, giving up the role, and Shaman taking it over. So, yes, this is amazing. This is actually a Joe Rubenstein piece. Taskmaster, so awesome. One of the best costume designs in comics ever. And I struggle sometimes at who is a better costume designer, Dave Cockrum or George Perez. I think it's really George Perez ultimately, but Dave Cockrum was great too. But man, could Perez build some costumes. And this was totally great. This is on his second run on Avengers. I think this was the Immortal Avengers 196 when Taskmaster first appeared. And this is from a later story. I think maybe in Avengers 226 maybe, or something close to that. It's the one where Hawkeye teams up with Ant-Man. Might be 224. Great cover by Mark Grunwald on that issue too. And nice Elliot Brown drawings here of Taskmaster's various weaponry, which was designed to mimic the heroes whose abilities he could mimic. He has no superpowers according to this, but he has photographic reflexes, which is a superpower. Come on. So I always thought that was funny. And then we have Tatterdemalion, who I guess this is sort of awkward layout here. They had to shoehorn him in at the bottom of Taskmaster's entry, and then he gets his own entry here. He's apparently possesses superhuman tap dancing abilities. That's not technically true, but let's see. Unusual features. Due to the Tatterdemalion's lack of hygienic habits, he emits a harsh odor at all times. And, I mean, they say he has no superpowers, but this shot here, I mean, he's dominating Spider-Man and the werewolf. Now, I didn't read this story, so I don't know the full context, but it is interesting. He's a visually kind of cool-looking character. I'm trying to remember if he shows up in the Night Shift or not. I think he does. That's that team, the Shroud forms of sort of weird villains that actually are heroes. Yep, group affiliation in the Night Shift, yeah. Shroud takes that team over and makes them into like anti-heroes. Tattletale, Franklin Richards, that's him in his Power Pack outfit. Terminus, awesome, sort of mini Galactus style villain. First appearance, Fantastic Four 269. That was a fantastic John Byrne story. He's a John Byrne creation. Occupation, scavenger, entrepreneur. Identity, Terminus's existence is unknown to the general populace of Earth. Base of operations, apparently mobile. Yeah, and we have here some fantastic John Buscema, Tom Palmer stuff from one of his subsequent appearances in Avengers. This is right after John Buscema took over in his run. So I think this would be 256 and 257, which had the Terminus story where he goes to the Savage Land and tries to consume the Savage Land. His robotic body possesses class 100 strength, enabling him to lift press over 100 tons. So this is actually him. This is just giant exosuit, and this is actually him when he's torn out of it by Hercules. Very cool. Yeah, neat character, cool villain. Texas Twister. He's a great character I always felt should have been used more by Marvel, but never really was. First appearance, Fantastic Four 177. Texas Twister possesses the superhuman ability to mentally cause the acceleration of volumes of air to great velocity within a radius of about 100 feet from his body. So let's see, I guess he can fly at 225 miles an hour, and a host of other tornado-related powers are his to command. Drew Daniels, former cattle hand, now rodeo performer. And he was briefly a SHIELD agent. He was part of that nascent team of superhumans SHIELD was trying to create. I think they showed up in Cap and the Hulk. Thena, essentially the leader of the Earthborn Eternals. Extremely powerful character. She gets a long entry. Again, these Eternals are incredibly powerful. She can lift press 25 tons. She flies at great speed. She can wield all sorts of energy blasts. Yeah, she's just a dynamo, a powerhouse. Great shot of the Thing here from John Byrne. Let me revisit this Thena real quick. I'm curious who draws that. It's not Sal. Let me look here. Brian Boland. Wow, that explains it. That's yeah, really, really nice figure work there. Wow. So yeah, Thing, Ben Grimm. Occupation, professional adventurer, former test pilot, adventurer, and wrestler. First appearance, Fantastic Four #1. Origin, Fantastic Four #1. The Thing #1. So I find it interesting over the years, especially in this modern era, and I don't read many modern comics, but the Thing is always, of late, been drawn as this gigantic being. And here he's 6 feet, 500 pounds. I mean, he's a total fire plug. He's just, I always loved that about him when he was drawn next to the Hulk during the period when I was reading comics from the 70s through the 80s and into the 90s. Hulk was clearly larger than him and obviously outclassed him too. I mean, Thing lost just about every fight, as he should have, because he's not in the Hulk's class. At any rate, the Thing possesses superhuman strength, enabling the lift press 85 tons. The Thing's strength grew considerably over the initial years of his career. At an early point of his life as the Thing, for example, he could only lift press 5 tons. That harkens back to that Super Skrull entry. So Mark Grunwald somehow decided that the Thing was weaker in the early issues of the FF, maybe looking through some of the stories or whatever. And he obviously got much more powerful over the years. The Thing's body is able to withstand extremes of temperature from -75 degrees to 800 degrees Fahrenheit for up to an hour before exposure or heat prostration occurs. He can withstand the explosive effects of armor-piercing bazooka shells against his skin with no injury. So he is a tough cuss, really. And we get here a lot of awesome Byrne action. This is from X-Men Fantastic Four 250, the X Factor story, which was totally awesome. That's actually not Colossus. That's a Skrull disguised as Colossus. Great shot of him knocking some Doom bots back. Really cool stuff. That's a little Ron Wilson, I think, there. Really nice. We get our entry on Thor with gorgeous Walt Simonson artwork. We get a little bit of Sal here. That's definitely Simonson. Thor has a long entry befitting his place in the Marvel Universe. Height, 6'6". Weight, 640 pounds. Eyes, blue. Hair, blonde. Thor possesses Class 100 strength and can lift press over 100 tons. Thor's strength is doubled when he wears his enchanted belt of strength. And they have a nice long entry on Mjolnir as well, weapons. So it's got a ton of powers, and it's done a lot of weird stuff over the years. Great shot here from Elliot Brown of the hammer side shot. I love this panel here. I think that's Simonson too. Oh yeah, and his chariot with the goats. I did really like the goats in Love and Thunder. I thought they were fun. Thunder Riders, formerly Team America. I'm thinking they changed this because maybe they were concerned about the license to Team America. So we have them. We have our truncated entries. I like this artwork. Is this Ron Wilson? Cynthia Martin. Okay. Yeah, so we have Are You Ready, Wrench, Cowboy, Georgiana, Wolf, and Honcho. Formerly Team America, now the Thunder Riders. Oh, I love Thundra. One of my favorite female Marvel characters. Totally awesome. That's another Brian. Man, Brian Boland representing in this issue. That's freaking awesome artwork there. Wow. This is a great Perez piece from, I think, Avengers Annual number 8 with Dr. Spectrum taking over various people. It's a Squadron Supreme story or Squadron Sinister story, essentially. But great Perez artwork there. Thundra's first appearance is Fantastic Four 153, and I actually recently acquired that issue for a not untidy sum, but she's one of my favorite characters, and I had the chance to pick up her first appearance, and I did, and I'm happy for it. She is 7 feet 2 inches, 350 pounds, green eyes, red hair, strength level. Thundra possesses superhuman strength, enabling her to lift press approximately 60 tons under optimal conditions. She possesses superhuman strength, endurance, agility, and resilience. Due to her genetic engineering, her skin, muscle, and bone tissue have been enhanced to the limits of human efficiency. Her physiology is so robust that she can exert herself at peak levels for about 50 minutes before fatigue impairs her performance. Her skin is hard enough to resist penetration by small caliber bullets. So she is definitely a formidable foe. Oh, this great tiger shark artwork here. I gotta see that. That's John Buscema. Nice. I love Tiger Shark. I love that issue of Hulk where Tiger Shark shows up at Niagara Falls and fights the Hulk in the falls. It's totally awesome. A fantastic Herb Trimpe story. Really cool. And he has been around for a long time, since season. Submariner number 5 was his first appearance. Todd Arliss, formerly an Olympic swimmer. Love these shots here. Oh, look at him beating up these whales. 6'1", 450 pounds. Tiger Shark possesses superhuman strength, enabling him to lift press approximately 40 tons while immersed in water and slightly less on land under optimal conditions. They kind of nerfed him. In the previous handbook, he was, I think, was considerably stronger, maybe 75-ton range. And he has a host of other powers related to resistance to injury and aquatic operations. He's basically amphibious. Tigra, again, she is a storied Marvel character. Greer Grant Nelson, first appearance as the cat number 1, as Tigra, giant-sized creatures number 1. Yeah, so this looks like Al Milgrom here. Let's check it out. Let's see. Oh no, Stan Drake. Stan Drake, doing a good Al Milgrom impression. This is a neat, I think Bob Hall from the first Avengers West Coast Avengers limited series. Pretty cool. Tiger is no slouch either. Tiger possesses superhuman strength, enabling her to lift press approximately 5 tons under optimal conditions. And she's listed as 5'10", 180 pounds. So she's packing some muscle on her frame. And again, she possesses a host of cat-like powers. Superhuman strength, agility, and endurance, and sensory acuity. She can perform complex gymnastics exercises with relative ease, run faster than a trained human athlete, and perform a standing high jump of 12 feet. Cool. Tinkerer, real name unrevealed. I love this character because he's basically like a facilitator. He supplies other villains with tech and equipment. So he's a great background character. He's one of those characters that really makes the Marvel Universe a complete universe. Where are some of these dumb villains getting all this high-tech gear, and who's training them and how to use it? Well, the Tinkerer is one answer to that question. 5'8", 175, first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man number 2. So man, he is a storied character as well. The Tinkerer is a genius at designing clever machines and weapons and manufacturing them out of pre-existing pieces. So he can take a transistor radio and a toaster oven and make you something that you can go up against Spider-Man with. Maybe a blaster, stun ray, something like that. So, really cool character. Titan, this is that satellite of Saturn where the Titanian Eternals dwell. Home, birthplace of Thanos, Star Fox, Mentor, and kind of the final base of operations of Captain Marvel before his cancer reached the end stage and he passed away. Covered that in a previous video. Check it out, The Death of Captain Marvel. Titania, one of the best things to come out of the Secret Wars. Love this character. She's totally awesome. Mary Skeeter McFerrin. First appearance, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #3. Along with Volcana, she was created by Doctor Doom to bolster his ranks of villains on the battle world when they were fighting the heroes at the behest of the Beyonder. Super cool. A very angry character, eventually becomes partner and lover of the Absorbing Man, which was totally great. They're a great pair. Height 6'6", weight 545 pounds, eyes blue, hair reddish blonde. Strength level. Titania possesses superhuman strength, enabling her to lift press approximately 85 tons under optimal conditions. I love that they made her a true heavy hitter in the Things class. Besides superhuman strength, Titania possesses superhuman endurance and resistance to harm. She can exert at full strength for over an hour before fatigue impairs her performance. She can resist penetration wounds from conventional ballistic weapons in great temperature extremes. Her rate of healing is over twice that of a normal human being, and she is immune to most terrestrial diseases. That's pretty awesome. Love that. I like this. I think that's a Ron Friends panel there, maybe from a Spider-Man issue. Of course, Spider-Man beats her up because, you know, Spider-Man can never lose and has to beat everyone, including Firelord, which is ridiculous, but it is what it is. Titanium Man. Oh, yes. Boris Bulski, or Bulaki. Yeah, that's cool. I really love the scale of Titanium Man, like how huge this armor is. It's almost like a mecha. If you look at the scale there, you're lifting that bus and those cars. Really awesome. And the guy inside has superhuman strength. He can lift press 2,500 pounds. He's 7'1", 425. That's Boris Bulski. I guess he was like a super soldier prior to getting the Titanium Man armor. And here we have a gorgeous, probably one of my favorite cutaways of the entire handbook. As you can see the size augmentation that's going on here. Bulski, who's gigantic, 7'1", is sitting inside this huge armor. Yeah. Height, they're saying, is 9 feet 3 inches of the armor. Width overall, 60 inches. Weight, 830 pounds for the armor. It amplifies the wearer's strength about 50 times. So he can lift press 50 times, 2,500 pounds. I'm not going to do the math here in the moment, but he's extremely formidable. And we go from Titanium Man to the Toad. A very ill-fated villain in the Marvel Universe. First appearance, X-Men #4, Mortimer Toynbee. I have to see who does this rather interesting art. Titanium Man was Al Milgrom, and that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's modern Steve Ditko, which I'm not the biggest fan of Steve Ditko at this point in his career. Interesting thing about the Toad, one of the first comics I ever bought off the rack as a kid was Marvel 2-in-1. I believe it was number 68, The Thing and Angel, and Toad features heavily in that issue. Drawn by Ron Wilson. And this might be a panel from that issue too, because he was like the head of his own Death Park that he took over from Arcade. The whole story is crazy. It starts in the discotheque. I may have to cover it on the show just for nostalgic value alone, since it was one of the first comics I ever bought off the rack as a kid. Toad is 5'8", 260 pounds. He's a portly fellow. He possesses superhuman strength primarily in his lower torso. He can lift press approximately 1 ton with his arms and leg press approximately 3 tons under optimal conditions. That's a bit of retconning there. I have never seen him in any story display superhuman strength. I mean, certainly you can say in his legs, but the idea that this sniveling toady, literally a toady, was that physically formidable, and yet Magneto was slapping him around all the time, and yeah, very interesting retcon of his powers there by Grunwald and company. Tomorrow Man, Artur Zarko, first appearance, Journey into Mystery 86. He was a Thor villain, I guess one of those time-traveling villains. He's one of those Marvel characters who you basically take away his gun or his belt or whatever, kind of like the Melter. He's just a dude and easily dealt with. Pretty jacked, though, in this artwork. I wonder if that's Buscema as well. I need to check. Tomorrow, man. That's Sal Buscema. Okay. Nice artwork there by Sal. And we get a very cool tower by Jackson Geiss. Cool, one of those cool newer mutant characters created for X Factor. Basically says he possesses superhuman strength when he increases his size, but doesn't really give a strength level. At normal size, he's 6'2", 355. Yeah, so kind of just one of your cool basic giant characters, size-changing characters. Trapster in his kind of new, more modern uniform. I do like this uniform. I think it's pretty neatly designed. As Paste Pot Pete, Strange Tales 104, and as the Trapster, he was Fantastic Four number 38 as a member of the Frightful Four with the Wizard. So he's definitely a villain with some history. We get a very lengthy entry on this guy. Trapster's paste gun, and then we get a very cool, incredibly detailed diagram of how the paste van braces in his new uniform work. Pretty awesome. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. And he possesses strength of someone who engages in moderate regular exercise. That's being kind. I'm not sure how much he actually works out. Triton, Inhuman character, very cool. Fantastic Four number 45 is his first appearance. Triton possesses superhuman strength and able to lift press approximately 2 tons on land. Fantastic Four 45, first appearance. So he's been around a long time. Triton, that's a Mike Zeck. Very cool, Mike Zeck. And I love this Tyrannus, and I just peeked, and it's Joe Sinnott who's drawing that, who's penciling that. Joe Sinnott, one of my favorite inkers. Really a great inker for someone like Al Milgrom, whose pencils are a little rougher, and Sinnott smooths them out beautifully. He had a nice run with Milgrom on Avengers, and he inked quite a few Byrne Fantastic Fours as well, I think. Back to Tyrannus, his first appearance is Incredible Hulk number 5. So again, this is a character who's been around for decades. Basically, his power is organization. He has a massive army and resources from the subterranean realm. The Mole Man has the Moloids. Well, he has these subterranean guys. UFOs, very cool. Mike Mignola artwork here. And then we get 4 entries on them. And that is definitely not, that's Sal Buscema all the way. Let me see here. Yep. Great entry on them. Ironclad can lift press approximately 60 tons under optimal conditions. X-rays composed of energy. Vector has like telekinetic powers, and Vapor can form poisonous gases, form her body into poisonous gases. So they're very cool Hulk villains. First appearance, Hulk 254 for all 4 of them. Ulik, the massive troll. First appearance, Thor 137. Yeah, what a fantastic piece of art that is. Who is that? Is that Walt Simonson? Yeah, I should have known since he's handling all Thor art chores at this point. He is 6'4", 780 pounds. He can lift press about 95 tons. In contrast, an average rock troll can lift press 25 tons. So he is very powerful. Ultimatum, that was that agency that the Flag Smasher formed, and that really great Captain America issue that Mark Grunwald wrote, where Cap was forced to use a gun to save some hostages. That was a cool story. Yes, these guys are basically anarchists, terrorist types. Ultron, really nice Ultron piece. Gotta look it up. Gotta know who draws that. Carrie Gammill. Very nice work from Carrie. One of the greatest Avengers villains. First appearance, Avengers 57. But first appearance is the Crimson Cow, Avengers 54. And then they have all the different iterations of Ultron. Their appearances are listed too. So, yeah, he gets a lengthy entry, again, befitting a character who's as important as he is. Yeah, very cool. He has a host of powers related to his indestructible adamantium body. It says here he can lift press 15 tons under optimal conditions. I would say he's much stronger than that, based on the fact that here in this panel here, he's just able to shrug off Wonder Man and Thor at the same time. Very formidable villain. And then Umar, this one's done by Joe Rubinstein himself, pencil and inked. Her first appearance is Strange Tales 150, Origin Doctor Strange 71. So she is a Doctor Strange villain character. Look at all this gorgeous art in these panels. She has a host of mystical powers related to her other dimensional origin. 5'11", 200 pounds. As a member of the extra-dimensional Faltine race, Umar has greater physical strength than a normal Earthwoman of the same physical age, height, and build, but the exact level of Umar's strength is unknown. But, as again I said here, she has a host of mystical powers. And we have on our back piece here the remainder of the data corrections for this issue, and more appendix other dimensions. So as been my custom, I'll read one of these. I don't have many to choose from this time. So let's go with the Rune Staff dimension. Mystic Realm, environment alien. Usual means of access, magic enchantment. Dominant life form, apparently none. Prominent inhabitants, no prominent inhabitants. Comments, the Rune Staff dimension is a pocket universe within which souls and bodies, but not minds, of those sentient beings whose knowledge is absorbed by the Rune Staff are transported. The Rune Staff's primary wielder, Kamo Tharn, the possessor, trapped hundreds of beings in this dimension, where they existed without consciousness for untold years. See Possessor. They were then mystically transferred into Tharn's own body and released through the efforts of the Asgardians Thor and Sif. Sif, Thor. Thor's mortal paramour, Jane Foster, was among the beings once trapped. The Rune Staff dimension's topography is subject to the wielder. First appearance, Thor 335. And I think that's the device they used to wrap up the whole Thor, Jane Foster story, which had more than run its course by the time that ended. So glad that that was got rid of before Simonson came on to Thor. So that's been our read through of the official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, the Luxe Edition, number 13. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, comment below, let me know which characters from this issue really impacted you or that you loved or hated. And also, if you have an idea for a future series that I should cover on the show, let me know down there. I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.